Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but recent figures suggest that our nation's bunnies are depressed.
Yes, over half of rabbit owners have identified signs of worrying behaviour in their pets, with fur pulling, biting and pacing, all signs that a rabbit is bored, lonely or depressed.
Well, the good news is we can help our furry friends, and joining us today is vet and rabbit welfare expert Suzanne Mayers. Welcome to you. Really lovely to meet you. So what are the signs then of an unhappy rabbit?
Yeah, so like you've said, things like them pulling their own fur out or grooming, kind of over grooming,
right,
or even being kind of a little bit destructive in their housing, so kind of biting and chewing at it. Or sometimes we'll see where they start to be even a little bit aggressive towards their owner, kind of not wanting to interact. Or then some can just become really quiet and withdrawn.
So why is it happening? Why are they depressed?
So they're absolutely fantastic creatures, but we have to make sure that we're meeting their behaviour needs. So, you know, they should be kept with plenty of space. So we've got a fabulous enclosure.
I mean,
here.
this is like a mansion for rabbits, isn't
you know,
it?
so this kind of run-around type setup is absolutely fantastic. We've got, you know, here today we've got quite a few bunnies in here, but if we had a pair of bunnies, this is the ideal size.
So, because a lot of people have single bunnies on their own, is that a good thing? 55% of us actually have rabbits that live alone.
Yeah, so really they're really sociable creatures, and if we think of those bunnies out in the wild, they're all living in little social groupings, and ideally we should have them in kind of paired little bonded pairs. So kind of some of them will live in groups, which is fantastic, but for most pet owners at home, a little pairing is absolutely ideal.
But getting the balance right is difficult. Finding rabbits that are going to get on is not necessarily easy,
and not
you
get on
don't
too
want
well.
thousands of rabbits.
Exactly, so everybody should be neutered. That's the first and foremost thing.
Even the owners.
Otherwise we end up with a population explosion. In terms of kind of if you have a bunny at home on their own and, you know, you're looking for a companion for it, that's where the rescue centres really come into their own, because you can go along, you can describe your bunny's personality and they'll help choose an appropriate friend and kind of pair them up. So, for example, you wouldn't necessarily put two really strong-willed bunnies together because they might clash. You might put a, you know, really laid-back one with a kind of a stronger one, so that they complement each other, and they'll often help you with the bonding process as well. So, you know, your local rescue, you know, there's 67,000 bunnies waiting for homes every year. So
you can tell that they're happy because if there are a couple of them, they'll groom each other, they'll sleep snuggled up.
Exactly. So you'll see them kind of, you know, we have had a couple of them earlier, you know, they're snuggled up together, they're kind of grooming at each other. And the classic really happy bunny sign is the binky, which is where they jump and twist in the air. And if you've got bunnies that are doing that, you know that they're happy.
So just quickly run us through some of the things that you've got in here that they like.
Yeah, so there's lots of things that people at home can do that are really easy. They don't have to cost a lot of money. So, you know, bunnies love to dig. So, you know, a heavy-bottomed planter with some earth in it that allows them to dig, that works really well. We've got some plant pots with herbs in here, so you can have little window boxes, different types of herbs. They absolutely love them. I mean, they've destroyed that in a matter of minutes.
Parsley, that one.
Yeah, and again, you know, I suppose they are a prey species, so having little tunnels or logs around that they can kind of hide next to or run through, that helps them feel settled and happy as well.
There's a thing in today's paper, it's in the Sun, drugs bunny. Rabbits should not be fed lettuce because it gets them stoned.
There is some new...
The rabbits are furious that we found out, by the way.
It's the end of the gravy train. There is some new evidence to suggest kind of that there is a chemical in it which can have a mild effect. I suppose traditionally we wouldn't have recommended feeding kind of iceberg lettuce anyway. It's mainly water. It doesn't really contribute anything nutritionally to them. The dark leafy greens are really the things to go for.
They're going to be all withdrawing. We're going to rabbits everywhere.